Hey, it's Jim Kukrow, and welcome to another edition of the Daily Flip. I know I haven't been on in a while, but I want to talk to you today about this cool book I got from a guy named David Brier, who I did a podcast interview with a while back. And I'll link to that podcast on this blog. And this book's called Defying Gravity and Rising Above the Noise, the work of DBD International, the 8 Principles for Achieving and Maintaining Brand Elevation. So David sent me this book, and I promised I would review it. And I gotta tell you, when I first got the book, I was like, this is not a book, this is a coffee table kind of thing, where it's gonna have big photos and stuff. And I thought, oh man, this is just gonna be, pictures of the work that they've done, and it is kind of. Except, when you get into the front of each one of these chapters, and you start reading these stories and the lessons that his company, DBD International, has learned over 25 years and the work that they've done. Well, first of all, let's talk about the work that they've done. The package design and the work that this company produces is unbelievable. I mean, this is top quality work that just will blow you away. Absolutely blow you away. And I guarantee you they're not cheap. But the stuff that they do, the branding that they do, and the designs that they do, I'm blown away. Awesome. But what really, really blew me away was a book about where he started talking about branding more and more. And, it's a big topic of mine. So, in this one chapter, it's so hard to hold. This is a big book. In this one chapter, they, basically outlines what people buy. They buy something different. So, Chanel No. 5, what they sell. They sell fragrance. What people buy from Chanel No. 5 is feeling and smelling attractive. Nike, what they sell, sneakers and sportswear. What people buy, the hope and tools for better athletic performance. Are you getting the drift here? People buy something different than what people are selling, and they make a great point, and that's branding. Haagen-Dazs, what they sell, ice cream. What people buy, the perfect adult indulgence. There's a story in here about the guy who was selling Haagen-Dazs ice cream before he called it Haagen-Dazs. And one day he decided to put this crazy name on it to give it this unique name, and the sales went through the roof. There's a million stories like that. It's about just defining your brand. So I got to this section too, and I thought that this was something very appropriate for what I do. It's if you're doing the same thing as your competitors, your brand is just another choice on a level playing field. And I'm going to read this. I'm going to read this section. There was something in here about pricing, but I really love this. I really love this chapter. Sorry for the lull there. This chapter just kind of talked about doing different things than your competitors, and making your brand stand out, and that was really powerful. And obviously, that hits home for me because I do that. All right, here's what I was talking about. It says, consumer obsession with price is the result of a primary need and demand on the part of the consumer and a primary failure on the company offering its product or service. So some companies are convinced that price is why customers buy their products. Tell that to Nike, where kids buy their sneakers at 2 times their competitors' products. This cannot be overemphasized. If you fail to differentiate your product, the customer will do it for you. And when you see the customer asking about the price of a product, you can use that as a sure sign that you have not fulfilled your primary function to differentiate your product. Let's say that again. If you fail to differentiate your product, your brand, everything, the customer will do it for you. And when you see the customer asking about the price of your product, you can use that as a sure sign that you have not fulfilled your primary function to differentiate your product. That's just an awesome line. And I really appreciate David sending me this book. It's a great looking book. It's beautiful. It's heavy. And I learned a lot from it. I was able to read through it real quick and look at all the graphics. I'm inspired by it. And David, this is a really cool book. And I think everyone who's interested in branding needs to understand the power of buying and selling and the brand of your product needs to pick up this cup. Defying Gravity and Rising Above the Noise from DBD International. Check it out.